Yeah, welcome here in Moistad. We're just about to finalize the development work on the generation 2 of the 992 GT3 with the Manthey kit. And as you see in the background, the car has a little bit of camouflage, so this is a prototype phase where we're just in and testing here on the industry pool and on the Nürburgring. Maybe Sebastian can explain what we're doing exactly.
It's a car which we treat as any other Manthey kit car, so our focus is exactly the same, which is drivability and maximum track performance. That means a lower lap time, and the driver feels, while being faster, more comfortable doing so. So that was also the exact target for the Aero kit. So we are working in conjunction to make that happen. And if the weather allows, we are really often on the ring to test new parts, new ideas, and develop it further.
It's the evolution of the first generation of the kit if we compare to the GT3 RS. And there we got the feedback, although it's that much spectacular and even more than a serial car already is, the customers really like it. That for us was the reason to go a step further, even with the GT3, which is not in RS, obviously. For sure, the aerodynamic is one of the biggest fields we are working on. So, and we found that the underfloor, we come to parts like the front splitter, which is not the same as on the GT3 RS, but takes a lot of the features of the GT3 RS front splitter from the aerodynamic side, as well as the rear diffuser ducts.
You mentioned the front splitter, which is actually one key item in terms of drivability and learnings from GT3 RS. You will notice that the shape is a little bit different, it's more round, and therefore the so-called pitch sensitivity is less in the GT3. So this is one item that we focused on in terms of drivability, but as well on overall aerodynamic performance. We incorporated the underfloor fins, they are called turning vanes, and the purpose of those is really to extract air from the underfloor, generate suction, just increase downforce with very little drag penalty. All of that is simulated in computational fluid dynamics, or CFD.
So, and after the first batch of simulation work is done, the next step is the first wind tunnel session, where we try to validate if the figures from the simulation are somehow transferred to the reality. And there an important part is to find that the drag figures of the components are not increasing the drag, which means being at least equal to the base car, which is really important for the WLTP figures regarding the emissions of the car. So that means we are not allowed to increase the emissions or make them worse as the base car. And achieving that, maybe you can imagine, is really complicated if you want to increase the downforce as well.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're talking about is the aerodynamic efficiency. And this is not only helping to homologate the car or to fulfill the optimization, but at the same time, it's especially helpful on the Nordschleife because it's a track with a lot of medium speed and high speed corners. So you have a lot of focus on the actual downforce that you have, but at the same time, since we are not modifying engine components and so on, as Stefan mentioned, we are also depending a lot on the aerodynamic drag, since there are a lot of straight line sections as well, where you just need the straight line speed of the car. So we are simulating a lot also in the virtual world in terms of lap time performance to guide the aerodynamic concepts. But you need to keep in mind always that these are just virtual concepts that work in the virtual world. So testing is quite important to verify that it's drivable, and ultimately the drivability can only be judged by our experienced driver. We are working since years together with Christoph Breuer, who is managing our street car department and basically fulfills the driver role nearly perfectly, because he has a huge amount of experience that contributes to the development of the kit. So his feedback is really vital. So Christoph is working really closely together with the customers, and therefore has always in the back of his mind the demands and the expectations towards the kit. Therefore, while we are developing the kit, already contribute to the change of direction. And ultimately, he's really fast. He's a really reliable source of developing. However, when we really want to extract the maximum performance and just get a baseline read, we would get a pro driver from Porsche and therefore validate the absolute maximum performance of the kit.
At the end of every development of a Manthey kit is somehow of a record lap to prove the performance that we have developed. And That's the point where I like to say the performance and the lap time a pro driver does on the car finally is for sure a really important indicator of how capable the whole kit and the conversion and development was.
We are operating this car actually from a performance side as if it was a race car. That means the people, the tools, and the way we analyze the results are fully coherent with what we are doing for race cars. This kit needs to be drivable on every track, like Hockenheim, for example, or Spa-Francorchamps and Portimao. These are one of the few tracks that we are driving on, and you can mount it basically worldwide.
One big part of making it reliable for the customer at the end is the close relationship we have to the guys in Weissach. Together with them, we define what is the necessary testing to make sure the reliability for the customer at the end is achieved. So therefore, we are testing the components exactly as they were tested with the serial development.
With fins, it's quite obvious that you cannot go as long as you want with the fin length. Although it is contributional to the aerodynamic performance, your fin length is of course restricted because you're bottoming out, especially on the Nürburgring. You have a lot of zones where you're driving into compression with high speed. Therefore, just the simple fact that you cannot allow more fin length with this kind of suspension is one item. The other item, for sure, when we are mentioning the heat buildup in the engine bay, we also need to make sure during, for example, long distance runs with 50 laps on a Nordschleife that it is a reliable package and no other components are affected.
There's a special test that we do together with the colleagues in Weissach. It's called Grenzbetriebsbedingungen, which is borderline working conditions, which means we're going round the Weissach round in full attack mode for 6 laps, and after that, without a cooling down lap, we store the car in a really closed box and close the doors and watch the temperatures, how they behave and how they are increasing or if something happens. And this is really hard testing for the whole car and for the engine bay especially. We are more than confident that we have made a good step forward regarding performance as well as in the optics. Compared to the Generation 1 of the 992 ET3 with the Manthey kit, the new car, the Generation 2, is for sure more recognizable on first sight. We hope that we gave you a little bit of insight in our development work and you enjoyed the video.